What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about Saw 11, the fact that it probably is not going to be happening, and talking about the future of the franchise and addressing what the franchise's biggest issue is right now at this present moment. And it's been its issue for a little over 7 years, you could argue, at this point. But it's been its problem ever since it came back in 2017. Now, Saw, from my perspective, could be getting a reboot rather than a story that continues what Saw X concluded on. The previous film that we know saw John, Amanda, their new friend Carlos get the advantage over Cecilia and Parker, two halves of a con act John fell victim to while trying to cure his sickness. Kevin Greutert directed and was expected to return, or I should say is expected to return, for the announced Saw 11, but things appear to be taking a turn for the worse, and now fans are probably going to need to expect a cancellation announcement sooner rather than later, considering the film is supposed to drop sometime this year. They do have some panels that are upcoming at the start of this first quarter of the year, so announcing that the film is canceled seems like a safe bet. Now, if it doesn't get canceled, then it just doesn't get canceled. But the film, again, is supposed to be out this year, and yet there's been little progress made known to the public, but we do have a lot of red flags, such as Kevin sharing the image from Saw X's finale, signaling that this is the end of the series as we know it, due to the alleged ongoing feud between Twisted Pictures producers Mark Berg and Oren Coles. Something that's really unfortunate, because there's an article out there talking about their friendship, and so it's very unfortunate that they are not seeing eye to eye right now, allegedly. Viewer Anon has made comments about this paused project as well. Saw Space, who has been very reliable, did state that the film isn't canceled, but another user on Reddit with a track record, Vink360, is convinced that this is a sticky situation beyond what many believe it to be. Vink is claiming the holdup is much more serious than one party deciding to focus on the Gina Phillips project that Lauren Lavera is supposed to be starring in, titled The Monster, and then circle back to Saw 11 after they're done with that project. According to Vink, they know it's much more than another film holding this project up. Allegedly, according to Viewer Non, Oren Coles wants to make Saw 11 and is exploring solutions. Mark Berg, though, is stonewalling everything. This information came to us from Viewer Non early this past month in December. Now, is Oren's solution going to be selling the rights to Saw? Today we had rumors circulating, and they've been circulating for a while, about the interest of selling said IP to a different entity. Today, the two entities that were being made known as potentially getting the rights were Blumhouse and A24. I have not heard anything on that. Saw, as of right now, is not something I am the most informed on when it comes to bringing rumored details, so I'm about as lost as everyone else is when it comes to Saw. If they do sell, I do doubt that we get another John Kramer film, though. I do want to address that for the majority of this video. Now diving into what I think is the problem with Saw in its current stage. The problem is they have not yet concocted a character like John that everyone can get behind. They've done it with The Apprentices, or at least tried to. They've tried it with a copycat like we saw in Spiral. It's not sticking. You dropped the ball in a lot of people's eyes when it came to Amanda and how she could have been the next one to carry on the mantle of this legacy or the franchise, but seeing as how we are where we are, I think people are going to be more down for something completely new altogether, not just John and Amanda again. Saw 11, yes, would have given us that, I'm sure, but if you sell the rights, rebooting it is going to be the next thing that happens. And again, as Vink has pointed out over in his comments section, this might take years. This franchise could be dead for many decades, for however long it takes for Mark and Oren to see eye to eye and sell the rights, or come together and decide, hey, let's do another Saw project. But before this is all said and done, I don't think we're going to be going back to the well again when it comes to John Kramer. The problem with the franchise is, again, you have not concocted a character that can carry the mantle for the foreseeable future the way audiences were captivated by someone like John Kramer. John Kramer, who again was losing his life and had a worldview that everyone else around him wasn't deserving, or at least wasn't proving themselves to be deserving of their life. They take their lives for granted, and that's the whole purpose of these traps, for them to prove that they understand life's value and they are worthy of living. They deserve to live, not just mindlessly operating their day-to-day life and don't understand the blessings that they have, don't appreciate the lives that they have, as he puts it, I think, countless times throughout the franchise. You have to come up with somebody that has a similar worldview, or maybe not similar, but something along the same lines. It's warped, It resonates with a large chunk of the public, and they will flock to theaters to see Saw movies rooted in said worldview. And I think you could borrow a lot of inspiration by what is happening with the current CEO drama, that thing that happened. I don't want to break community guidelines, but Luigi, all that stuff. People are sick of these health insurance companies. People are sick of insurance companies. I think there is room to tell stories about corrupt individuals within some of these companies, and you have someone out there who is like a John Kramer, who is wanting to put these people through similar Jigsaw test games, whatever you want them to be, and you can make this character doing this the most captivating, charismatic, charming, whatever it is. Something about them has to create an interest from your public to then go out of their way to see this new direction of the Saw franchise. I think doubling down on the commentary that we see presented in the franchise, like those, doubling down on the crooked nature of these very crucial industries in our life, healthcare, law enforcement, those have been the two things that have been very prevalent throughout the Saw franchise. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think doubling down on the healthcare corruption right now would be very smart, but doing it in a way that harkens back to what you just did with Saw X, meaning giving us a narrative about people who deserve to be in these traps, and then a protagonist who's also an antagonist, because they're not wrong either. You have multiple parties just doing wrong. You have the corrupt people within the system, and then you have the person who's the vigilante taking them all out because they think that they are doing justice for the public in their own eyes. But of course, the law doesn't agree. Not even just insurance companies, but there's a lot of frustration with elected officials right now as well. Whether you're talking about the governor of this state, that state, the president, there's so much frustration with elected officials. I think Saw has a major opportunity to capitalize on the public's frustration and tell compelling narratives about corrupt individuals that are a part of this system that people are sick of. Create a character that is chasing and targeting these people. They have to be charismatic. They have to be captivating. They have to give you a reason to want to continue to peel back layers of that character, just like John did. And that is a way for Saw to continue. I think it feels like the most natural way to continue. It feels in line with what Saw has been doing since its inception, commentating on the corruption of certain industries. But you guys, let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notification, and never miss a video. In the description, I'll have links on my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there to let me know any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.